Car that came out and tried one lap and didn't like it, took it off the track. It's the Jim and Sandra Bartosh car, sponsored by Sandra's. And it goes for a ride down in turn number 1 with a brand new motor in the car. Comes back out, and it is Rip Williams. We see him moving around, trying to get out of the car. He's crawling out all by himself. Jumped the cushion in turn 1, trying to get himself a quick time. He's got a brand new motor in the car. They had been dialing in the chassis and were pleased with the way the car was working. And with the last, only one more car left, you could see Rip was going to go after quick time tonight. And he just didn't set it up into the cushion exactly right. And he's okay. Trying to get the cars lined up for the first heat race. It's Dan Moore and Bob Mealy in the front row. Charlie Zabinski and P.J. Jones in row number 2. Leland McSpadden and Ron Schumann in row 3. And Jeff Bagley in row 4. The yellows are off. We are ready to go racing on the first heat of the night. It's for 10 laps. The top 4 will transfer directly to the main event. And it is no green. And Don Reed doing the honors in the starting tower tonight. And we're getting ready to go green. And again, we've got a problem. The two front cars are banging each other on the back straightaway, Moore and Mealy, and they wanted to bring them around and tell them that's a no-no. You got to bang together on the front straightaway. Try it one more time with Moore and Mealy to bring them out of turn number 4 onto the green, we hope, for heat number 1. They stand on it. Let's see if we go green. Moore leads them down the front straight. Mealy crosses over, goes to the inside, going into turn number 1. P.J. Jones is running in 3rd spot, and Zabinski is 4th, McSpadden 5th, Schumann is 6th. Tight pack in turn number 4 as Jones gets around on the inside. P.J. Jones got himself into 2nd for a moment, but Mealy gets it away from him going into turn number 1. Moore is the leader. Mealy is running 2nd. Moore running the cushion. Mealy stays over there as well going into turn number 4 and follows him right out down the front chute. Jones is going to go to the outside. He's trying to get into 2nd spot, but he's running 3rd right now. McSpadden is up to 4th, and a transfer spot to the main event. Schumann still has to get around Zabinski to get himself to the main. Up for the lead comes Mealy. Goes to the inside and he dives right across Moore. Moore does not slam on the brakes, makes contact, gets the car a little bit sideways, but drove out of it. Mealy is the leader. Schumann trying to get into fifth spot as he gets around and makes a move on Zabinski. He's now running fifth. Schumann out of the turn with one more car in front, and the car directly in front of him is McSpadden. P.J. Jones going a little bit wide in turn number one, and so is car number 24 of Dan Moore. Both of them lost some ground, but neither McSpadden nor Schumann could capitalize. Mealy down the front chute. This event is half over, racing at 20.242 on the last lap for Mealy. P.J. Jones trying to cross over and get by Dan Moore, and Schumann got underneath McSpadden, but McSpadden gave him no room. Mealy is the leader. Schumann's underneath McSpadden now up into turn number 4, trying to move forward, and McSpadden drove over in front of him and says, no, you don't. And now P.J. Jones into second. He takes it away from Moore. And now Schumann's going clear to the outside, and down low was McSpadden. And Schumann gets around McSpadden and into fourth spot. Dan Moore is now directly in front of Schumann. And here comes McSpadden following Schumann around out of 4, and that gets McSpadden back into fourth spot. He followed Schumann's fast line and got his fourth position back away from Dan Moore. We are in lap number 8. Mealy is the leader. P.J. Jones is running second. Schumann is third. McSpadden is fourth. Running fifth is Moore, and sideways out of turn number 4 is Zabinski. And at the back is the rookie driver, Jeff Bagley. PJ a little bit closer to Mealy now as they go into turn number 3. Mealy hears him back there, tries to slam the door, and Jones jumps the cushion when he didn't know where to go when Mealy took away the racetrack. And now Schumann's underneath Jones going into turn number 1. Jones is around on the cushion. Schumann looks him over to see where he's going to go and lets him have the space. Into turn number 3 is Mealy for the checkered flag. Out of the turn they come. It's going to be Mealy followed by Jones, then Schumann and McSpadden. Fifth is Moore. Sixth is Bagley. And finishing 7th is Zabinski with a problem. He slowed down and Bagley got him at the checkered flag. For 20 laps. Redican still second, followed by Kennedy and Sweeney. Then it's Schumann. Atherton holds on, followed by Meyer and Jones going into turn number 1. Looks like Marvel's going to take 15 off the track. Second, third, and fourth charging out of turn number 4. Schumann gets to the outside of Scott Sloan, trying to catch the 3-car pack directly in front of him. Running second is Redican, third is Kennedy, fourth is Sweeney, and fifth is Schumann, and Schumann is beginning to catch up, but we're going to run out of laps pretty shortly. Schumann catching Sweeney slowly now as they go into turn number 1. Sweeney is behind Kennedy with no place to go at the moment, and every lap Schumann gets about 3 car lengths closer. Now Sweeney looks like he wants to go down underneath Kennedy in turn number 4. Sweeney passes and moves up 1 spot on Kennedy. Schumann moving into position on Kennedy now in turn number 1. Schumann on the low side of the racetrack, Kennedy on the outside. Let's see if Schumann can pick up any spots as they go into turn number 3. Here comes the leader, McSpadden, running at 21.011. 5 laps will be left to go next time by. We are on lap number 25. Schumann now into striking position, loses a little ground on the low side of the racetrack. Has Kennedy right in front of him as the 5-lap signal is given down to McSpadden as he crosses start-finish. Second place still is 55, Redican. And running third is Sweeney. Sweeney underneath Redican in turn number 2. Redican holds on just barely. Sweeney coming back after him. Sweeney trying to get second going into turn number 3. Sweeney's down on the low side of the racetrack. Redican's on the high side in turn number 4, but Sweeney moves into second. Redican is back to third, but meantime Schumann gets around Kennedy, and Schumann is up to 4th. About to have 3 laps left to go. Sweeney being held up by Osling. That's his cousin directly in front of him, and Osling now moves over as Sweeney pointed the nose of the car at him like he was going to charge after him. Now Redican trying to get by. Redican trying to get by, and he does get by Osling. And now it's Schumann being held up. Schumann underneath, he gets by Osling and drives into turn number 4. Next time by, it'll be the last lap, the white flag about to come out. And we got a car spinning down between 1 and 2. And that's going to bring out the yellow. Charlie Zabinski in car number 70 spins between 1 and 2. Leland McSpadden has a flat left rear tire from a contact with Zabinski on that last lap. And this may cost McSpadden the race. Zabinski tagged him on that last lap, and then Zabinski spun it shortly after that, and McSpadden now may not be able to hold off the charge. Right behind him is Sweeney, Redican, and Schumann. Sweeney comes up alongside and tells McSpadden he has a flat tire. McSpadden says, I know it. Sweeney says, don't you want to go in and change it? Leland says, no, I don't think so. Bobby Jones takes car number 96 off the racetrack. Now, Ron Schumann's up there to tell him. McSpadden says, I'm going to drive her flat, guys. You aren't talking me into leaving. They're saying, okay, but you better not get it sideways in front of us. It was a torque tube on Mealy's car that cost him a restart. And Brad Marvel's car number 15 left the racetrack. Are you ready? Out of fuel. Who didn't check that? Not supposed to run out of fuel in 16 laps. Well, let's see what happens as McSpadden limping around at the front of the pack. He's going to have his hands full. The guys behind, of course, will have an opportunity to go after him, but it's also not going to be easy getting around him if he can't keep the car straight. Here we go, and immediately down underneath, Sweeney makes the pass, and going into second is Ron as he goes around the outside of Osling. Ron Schumann, and we got a spin down in turn 1. '91 Jerry Meyer And 47 Keith Crisco are together between 1 and 2. Bubby Jones' throttle stuck wide open and the engine overheated on 96 and he had to take it in. 47 Crisco back on the track, and here comes car number 91 back onto the track with Jerry Meyer. The green out of turn number 4, and McSpadden again trying to hold on, but Sweeney takes full advantage. And the man who doesn't like this start as well as the last one is Ron Schumann. But he does get into the 3rd position this time as he gets into the turn. And now he's got McSpadden out there on the outside. He'll dive under McSpadden into 2nd spot, but he may not have time to run Sweeney down. And McSpadden stays in the race and holds up Schumann. Schumann had a chance to get around, and McSpadden's driving that car. Underneath Schumann this time came Redican trying to get him. And it should be white flag time this time. And McSpadden, with a broken race car, still in the picture. He drives it down the front chute and into the turn, and Schumann unable to overhaul him. McSpadden staying on it, and Schumann can't get around. Time for the checkers, and the victory's going to go to Sweeney. Here he comes on the checkered flag. Who's going to be second? And it's going to be McSpadden, followed by Schumann, and then Redican, then Kennedy, Meyer, and Atherton. PJ, your 5th time out in a sprint car and you finished 5th. That's pretty fast.
Yeah, we just tried to, pick them off one at a time and do our best. That's all we could hope for.
A lot of drivers spend a lot more than 5 times on a racetrack to get up to the front.
Well, we just, it wasn't like I was saying, okay, I'm going to run 3rd, I'm going to run 2nd. I just sat there and took my time in traffic and used my head as best I could.
You've had a lot of experience in TQs and full midgets, but this is your first try at sprinters.
Well, it's been my 5th race. It's about my 3rd race here, I think, and it's just a learning process. You got to go through the car, weighs more, it's got more horsepower, and it's just a learning experience.
You have any problem with any of these guys out here trying to push you around?
No, actually, I think these guys are a lot easier on me than the midget guys.
Well, the midget guys you've been running along with Sleepy Trip running up front. You're going to run a 2-night show here this week. You did well in the sprint cars. Tomorrow night, you're going to come back in the midgets.
Yeah, we have a little bit more advantage than in the sprint car. I know a little bit more about the midget and how to set it up. So, I think Sleepy and Ron Schumann will be our main competitor.
Does your dad Parnelli help you at all?
Yeah, he's a great help, actually. He tells me from the previous week what I did wrong and what I've got to work on. And he's a helping all around. He helps me make decisions on what I should drive and who I should drive for if I have the opportunity to choose from. But he's an all-around great help.
Which do you like best, midgets or sprints?
Well, it's kind of hard. I don't know. The sprint car is really neat because it's got a lot of horsepower and it's a little bit more forgiving. The midget, is nice because I kind of know a little bit more about the car than in a sprint car, and I feel like I have more advantage there than in a sprint car.
Are you going to stay in sprints and midgets for a while, or are you headed for Indianapolis?
Well, we're headed other places. I don't know about Indy quite yet. Right now, I'm running GTO and Firestone Firehawk series, and it just kind of biding my time. I think next year we'll do a little bit something, hopefully like ARS or another GTO program or something like that.